Hello and welcome. My name is Ganesh. I'm from learnenglishlab.com, and in this lesson I'm going to teach you how to pronounce ed endings correctly. Now we commonly find these in the past tense forms of verbs. Of course we do find them in some adjectives as well, but mostly these are found in the past simple and the past participle forms of regular verbs. Alright, now when you have a verb with an ed ending, it can be pronounced in one of three ways, either as id, t, or d, as in started. Here the sound is started, id. It's not started, but it's a little softer, started. In this word, it's jumped, jumped, t, or cared, cared, d. Now, which way you should pronounce the ed ending will depend on the last sound in the word, and we will get into the rules in a moment, but these are the three ways that you can pronounce the ed ending. All right, let's now look at the rules. Let's do the easy one first. If the last sound in a word is t or d, then the ed ending is pronounced id. Like, for example, waited, waited, tasted, tasted. In both of these words, the last sound before the ed ending is t, so we use id. Similarly, in these two words, the last sound is d, so landed, landed, or decided, decided. So if the last sound is t or d, then the ed ending is pronounced id. Now before we move on to the next two rules, there's an important concept that you need to understand, and that is the concept of voice. Now I'm not talking about our voice when we speak. In English, we say that some sounds have voice and some sounds don't have voice. If a sound has voice, we call it a voiced sound, and if it doesn't have voice, we call it a voiceless sound. But what does voice mean? Well, to understand what it means, I'd like you to take two fingers, your index and your middle finger. I'd like you to put them on your throat like so. Now say ba, ba. When you say ba, you should be feeling a slight vibration in your fingers coming from your throat. That vibration is called voice. So we can say that the sound ba is a voiced sound. That is, it has voice. So what about voiceless sounds? Well, once again, put your fingers on your throat, and this time you're going to say the sound sa, but you're going to say it continuously. If you said it, did you feel a vibration in your throat? Well, if you said it correctly, you would have felt no vibration. That's why we say that the sound sa is voiceless, or it has no voice. Similarly, shh, like you're telling someone to be quiet. Shh, again, no voice. If the last sound in a word is voiceless, then the ed ending is pronounced t. For example, touched, touched. The sound ch is voiceless, so touched, t. Pushed, pushed. Here the last sound is sh, so pushed. Laughed, laughed. Notice here that the last two letters are GH, but the sound is f, so laughed. Now before we move on, I want to ask you a question. Why do we do this? If the last sound is unvoiced or voiceless, why do we say t for the ed ending? Well, it's simply because the t sound, t, is also a voiceless sound. So it makes it easier for us to say the ed ending. All right, so in the second row, liked, liked, dressed, dressed, clapped, clapped. So when the last sound is voiceless, we say t for the ed ending. And when the last sound is voiced, the ed ending is pronounced d. These are all some examples of voiced sounds. G, j, b, v, z, etc. And there are actually more voiced sounds in English. These are just some examples. And any vowel sound is automatically voiced. Like if you say O or A or E, you cannot say it without voicing it. So any vowel sound will always have voice. Okay, let's look at some examples again. Hugged. In the word hug, the last sound is g, so hugged, hugged. Played, played. Encouraged. Here the last sound is j, which is voiced, so encouraged. Boiled. What about this word? How would you pronounce it? Well, the fact that I've put it in the voiced category should give you a clue, because when we say the word use as a verb, it's use, use. This s becomes z, so use. The past tense form is used, used, d. Loved, loved. All right, so now you know the three ways that we pronounce the ed endings. Now, before we finish this lesson, in a moment I'm going to give you a test to see if you can pronounce ed endings correctly. Before doing that, let's quickly recap what we've learned today. If the last sound in a word is t or d, then the ed ending is pronounced id. If the last sound is voiceless, then we say t for the ed ending. And if the last sound is voiced, the ed ending is pronounced d. All right, over here I have 10 words, and I'd like you to come up with the pronunciation of the ed ending. To do this, take a moment and in each word identify the last sound. Okay, for example, in the first one, the last sound is k. And then think about whether you would use id, t, or d. All right, if you need, pause the video here for a moment. Think about your answers, and then I will give you the answers. All right, let's discuss the answers. In number one, the last sound is k, which is unvoiced, so the ed ending is pronounced t. Walked, walked. In number two, the last sound is w, which is voiced, so the ed ending becomes d. Okay, so borrowed, borrowed. In number three, this is a tricky one. A lot of people get this wrong. What's the last sound here? Well, the last sound is the, because the word is breathe, breathe. So the last sound is the, and the is voiced, so it's pronounced d. So breathed, breathed. Did you get this one right? If you didn't, you might have to practice this a few times before you get it. All right, next, the last sound is d, so the ed ending is pronounced id, added, added. Number five, the last sound is s, which is unvoiced or voiceless, so kissed, kissed. Number six, the last sound is n, which is voiced, so listened, listened. In number seven, the last sound is t, so melted, melted. In number eight, the last sound is ch, which is voiceless, so launched, launched. Number nine, the last sound is l, which is voiced, so traveled, traveled. In number 10, the last sound is b. Remember, b is voiced, so grabbed, grabbed. All right, how many of those did you get right? Let me know how many you got correct in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in another lesson soon.